We've always had a lot of fun, and then one of the biggest things about it is helping new people connect with each other. And so we like for people to share their information so they can get back in touch later. And we're running sort of a series now of the different authors who contributed to Thriving Beyond the Storm, which is a great book for entrepreneurs that Drew Becker put together back in August. And the second book is about to come out. And I'll let you know, and Drew will put the information in there, but Thriving Beyond the Storm, not only is it a great book, but it was a real labor of love for Drew, because it's more than a thought to put this together. And in putting these together, when you buy this book, you get some great information, but the proceeds of the sale of it go to the food bank of Eastern North Carolina. And there are a lot of people in need, so I encourage you, if you haven't gotten the book, to get it. And if you have, share it with someone else so that they will get it. And today we have one of the contributors, and I tell you what, I'm going to have you say your name and do your introduction, because I'm afraid that I won't pronounce it right, and I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, that's totally fine. You know, what's in a name? A rose by any name smells the same, as Shakespeare said. So I'm Divya Parekh, and I am a business growth as well as expert positioning advisor. And some of you may ask, okay, what is expert positioning? It's about building your credibility, because not, especially nowadays, more than ever so, all of us are transitioning online. So if somebody refers your name to someone, first thing they're going to go and check out, who are you on your LinkedIn profile or on your Google, you know, how you're showing up as. So that's where we kind of come in, you know, our team, and just showing up authentically, basically. So that's why I'm Kimball.
I'm going to mute everybody out except for our speaker. Hang on a second. I've got a little bit of background noise. I can work. Okay. Divya, you'll need to unmute yourself. And
all right. And we want to keep it to like 12:45, right? Awesome. So folks, first of all, thank you so much for joining us, because so many people are going inwards. And as Kimball mentioned, really, really, it's important to continue the connectivity thread, because the more isolated we become, the more critical it is to be together, whether it is in virtually. And I know sometimes, you know, it's not fun staying here, like sitting on the Zoom. And what I've found is that in some of my meetings, I'll ask for permission from people that, are you okay if I'm walking? And I'll be walking inside the house, or mix it up. And it's okay, as long as you're not wearing your jammies, or even if you're wearing your jammies, you know, just kind of standing up and having some fun with people. Like, so sometimes I have like a stand-up meeting calls where I'm standing up and somebody is also standing up. So just kind of mix and match. So today we want to talk about how to bounce back to success. And let's look at crisis that we are in currently. And I'm not going to talk about COVID-19. I'm going to talk about crisis, because we can talk about that, oh, there is no crisis, you know, we're just kind of talking about it. So it's important to have these tough conversations. One of the key things to keep in mind is that what's going on, not only in US, but globally, if you kind of take a look at, people have become a little isolated, whether it's through forced close downs or due to the fear. And that's a fact. It's a fact. And if you don't agree with it, that's totally fine, because we are going to be talking about mindfulness. And mindfulness is allowing the other person to be as they are. So that said, if you just kind of take a look at it, most of the people are feeling isolated. And I come from a science background, so I usually go into studies. There are a lot of studies that are showing that mental health, depression, and anxiety is on an all-time rise. There are multiple studies that are going on and showing that. So when I talk about crisis, it's not talking about pandemic. I'm talking about what has resulted due to isolation. And then if you take a look at globally, there's economic downturn. A lot of people have lost their jobs. And now we are talking about mental health. Then we are talking about social issues that may be going on. Then we may talk about political issues. And there's so many things. And then you are here, like watching news, or if you're on social media, and you look at that social media thread, somebody posts something in it, oh, there is like a whole barrage of people just kind of pulling each other down and creating that divisiveness. So folks, I don't know about you guys, but I'm done with it. And when I say I'm done with it is, I'm done with that polarization. I'm done with that divisiveness. And the key is like looking at what's an antonym for that. Why can't we be connected and be cohesive? Yeah, we can think differently. It's not about that all of us have to think in the same direction or think the same thing. Because think about it. If all of us had been thinking the same thing since the dawn of human evolution, what would have happened? We would not have made the progress we have. We would not have different types of thought processes and different perspectives and all the progress that human civilization has made. So it's okay. Now, when we talk, so that's the crisis definition for me. And what has happened is that also during the crisis, people's patience has gone down. People are not as patient as longer before. People are jumping ship. Oh, this opportunity is, it's not working out. This person is not great. So we are losing our resilience. We're losing our coping mechanism. So that's where, when Drew approached me that, Divya, the benefits are going to food bank, and thank you, Drew, for pulling it all together, and thank you, Kimball, for organizing this and spending your time, and thank you all for joining. So the key is that if you're here, then you're definitely a person who's looking for not only growing themselves, connect with others, but also making an impact in other people's lives. So when Drew came to me, I said, yes, I would love to, definitely love to contribute. And Bounce to Success is the whole idea that what is it that we can do? That not only we can survive through the crisis, because folks, the old normal is gone. We are in the new normal. And once the vaccine is out and as things continue to progress, there will be the next normal. So how do we position ourselves? How do we show up that our new normal that will become the next normal allows us to thrive around it? So one of the things I really want to talk about is mindfulness. And I'm sure that you know about mindfulness a lot. And one of the things I want to talk about is that how can you spice up your day? I don't want to bore you with all those big definitions and what goes into mindfulness. Long story short, for me, mindfulness is a conscious decision. It's a deliberate practice. And the reason I said deliberate practice is because our brains, folks, they're wired to be automated. And it's easy to complain. Oh, it's hot. Oh, the humidity is so high. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's been raining for 2 days. So just if you watch your language, and including myself, I do it too. So that's where the word deliberate practice comes in. We have to make an effort to go against the direction where our brain wants to go. It's easy, right? For brain, all right, my goal is to automate things. That automaticity allows the brain to function and use a really minimal energy. Oh, it's easier to complain. Now I gotta make an effort. I gotta bring in awareness that I am complaining. I gotta watch what I'm talking about. I gotta look at my words. So that's where mindfulness pops in, that it's a deliberate practice of being present in the moment without any judgment. And there are multiple definitions out there. And this is my definition. And judgment, if you think that it's not going to happen, it's going to happen. It's inbred in us. And that's how we survive. Because if you don't make any decisions and if you're not judging the situation, it's just the connotation that we have made it bad. Okay, judgment happens. What's next? How can you put that pause? The key is to press a pause, folks. So many times what happens is like, if you're sitting and if you're working on your computer, you'll go for 2 to 3 hours and you won't take a break. So one of the things I want to do today is share with you some strategies, some simple to use strategies that you can put it in your daily practice and make your lives more stronger and continue to build your resilience every single day. It's not about like, oh, I'm going to go dig a well when there's a fire. It's about slowly digging that well so that when there is fire, you're ready for it. You already have a well. And always remember that just because you did your meditation or you did your mindfulness or you did your dancing or your exercise, your good holistic approach, whatever it is that works for you, that helps you sustain your energy and recharge your energy, it doesn't work if you don't continue to replenish it every single day. It's really critical to replenish it every single day. All right, so now what happens? Let's talk about why do you need to replenish every single day. It's like water, right? You're drinking every single day. And food, yeah, we can do fasting, but you can go without food for a whole lot of long periods. Similarly, for your energy. Similarly, it's important to connect with other human beings and it's important to recharge your energy. So I usually have a mix of few things in my day-to-day practice. So one of the things that I would invite you to do is that at the top of every hour or every hour, what you can do is download a mindfulness clock and it will do, as you said, the mindfulness clock or mindfulness alarm, it will ring. And what it allows you to do is just take a break for a couple of minutes. And when you take that break, there are different ways of bringing that awareness. And a lot of people don't like about the breath awareness. They don't like the senses awareness. We'll talk about a few different things that you can use. Sometimes you can just do a simple thing. Here. Look yourself in a mirror. And humor goes a long way. Now I gotta share with you folks, smile releases so many good, happy chemicals in our body. And there's a whole physiological loop. So when you're smiling, those chemicals are released and those chemicals are fed throughout your body. And there's a physiological feedback loop. And just check, when you're looking at yourself and when you're just smiling, you'll find your shoulders just relaxing on its own. Simple thing, having that. Then one of the things, as I talked about, during those couple of minutes, you can have some of those balls. So just kind of sitting and massaging your hands because you have been typing, and the typing can cause tendonitis or, fatigue in your fingers. And there are supposed to be nerve endings on our hands. And what this does is it's a nice massage. So you can either get some balls, you can get tennis balls, whatever you think works for you. And now let's say you have done that at the top of every hour. It doesn't have to be done. If you're in like a 2-hour meeting, you don't have to do it. But think about it. Right now, you're doing nothing. Versus if you start out every single day that, okay, 2 times a day, I'm going to give myself 2 minutes of mindfulness break. And I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to bring myself back where I'm grounding myself. And folks, you'll see the difference. It's something simple, easily actionable, easy to implement. And I really love to keep this because whenever I'm looking at this, I laugh at it. And I have got like multiple different gadgets where I've got like big glasses, and sometimes I'll do that in my meetings too. I'll just show up wearing big glasses with a mustache on it. And it brings smile to other people's faces. And it's just amazing. It breaks the barriers. It makes you connect. And of course, you don't have to do it, especially if you're talking to somebody who is a prospective client, and they'll be like, who is this person? I hope so they're mentally okay. And so once you're comfortable, and sometimes it also depends if that's how you want to show up and that's the kind of client you want, it's totally okay in deciding how you want to be perceived as, how you want to live your life, what are your core values. So that really, really helps. So we talked about the mindfulness. I want to talk about a couple more exercises. So a lot of people talk about, go ahead, close your eyes, do the breathing. I want to show you something very, very cool. And I'd love to invite Kimball to play along with me. Is that okay, Kimball?
Sure, I love to play.
Awesome. So now I want to share about, it's called, this is a term that I have coined, and it is just be aware and share. So now when I talk about be aware and share, can you take a look at me and just kind of share with me? So now what you're doing is you're bringing your whole focus. This is especially like this is I'm talking about, especially if you have coaching clients, or if you are sitting with your regular client, even if it's not a coaching client, or if it's somebody, your friend, your family, just kind of playing the game. It really, really helps to help not only center yourself, but helps center the other person. And what it does is it builds the relationship, especially today when we are virtual. Now you're paying attention. So I just say, be aware and share. So now when you take a look at me, do you find any portion that is tense or something where you could give me some feedback?
Be nice.
You look tense. Well, I notice your neck is very straight and your posture is very good. I don't think that's bad. I mean, you're very present.
Okay, so that's something good, right? Like, so in a conversation, so one of the things you can share with is that I saw that you were listening intently. I saw that your head tilted towards me as we were talking. You may not be looking at the camera, but I can see that, you were looking at my picture on the phone or that, and you were tilting at me. So you're sharing something that you've observed about the other person. And now I'm going to share with you. So like, you're aware, right? You're not just being self-aware, you're being other-aware. And especially in today's day and age, it's so critical to be other-aware, folks. We all talk about, oh, I gotta be resilient, I gotta do good, me. And I'll tell you why I'm not talking about me, because Richard Davidson, one of the most leading neuroscientists, according to him, there are 4 circuits in the brain. Independent circuits, totally independent circuits. Given the time we have, we cannot talk about all the circuits, but I want to talk about one circuit. So one circuit is that we are wired, we are built through evolution and through our brain development to help others. Because when you help others, you feel good. Like, let's take an example of me and Drew. So for example, like, from my books, the profits from my book go to kiva.org, to entrepreneurs who are impacted by COVID-19. Why do I do it? Am I that altruistic? Maybe, but it makes me feel good. And why does it make me feel good? Because that's how my brain's designed. So similarly, when Drew mentioned that I want to do it, I guarantee you that helping others makes Drew feel good. He's an awesome, awesome person. One of the best people that I've had a chance to come across. That makes us feel good. So now that's where, like, when we are talking about other aware, it builds a bond. Especially when, and you can share, you can just ask if you're meeting somebody that, hey, you know what, as we go through it, would you be open to at the end of our session, at the end of our meeting, would you be open for just, as what we have observed, be other aware and share thing. And you don't have to do it. You can just do it with friends and family. So one thing that I noticed is that, Kimball, you're so nice, you're relaxed, and your poster or the sign, we are all in this together. That speaks volumes. So now if I'm giving you that feedback, then you have made an effort to put it in your bag. When I'm sharing with you, it tells you that your message reached me. And we all know that, yes, we have seen it, but it's the expression. And when you express, it's the same thing. Like, if you like a plant, oh yeah, plant is good. There's studies out there that show if you speak to a plant, if you play music, it grows. So similarly, connectivity grows when we share with other people. So yes, mindfulness, we talk about doing meditation, being self-aware. But the reason I wanted to share this with you is because here we are not just here to listen to me, but we are here to connect with each other aware. And so I found it has really helped me connect with strangers. I'll just talk, I will tell them in the beginning that this is something I've started. Would you be open to doing that at the end of the session? And you can say no. And now what happens is that because I've mentioned it, that person is attentive, especially if they've said yes. So you're asking for the permission. You're not pushing anything on anyone. They're in the moment. So you're grounding yourself because now you're going to give some feedback to the other person. They're going to give you feedback. You're making an effort. It automatically happens. And as it goes, there are studies that show the automaticity happens between 66 days to sometimes over a year. So now you're building your habit, you're helping yourself and helping others. So that's one of the things I wanted to share. Then one of the other simple ones that you can do is, it's called sense mindfulness. Just pick one sense, whatever you want to pick. And I'd highly recommend not your eyes, because in Zoom, you're always listening. You are always talking. I would say is have the touch. It's so interesting. Close your eyes, and then you can take any object and just feel it. Close your eyes and feel it like, what's the texture? Oh, and then describe it to yourself. And what that's going to do is it's again going to ground you. 1 minute, folks. 1 minute. And if you add it up throughout the day, 10 minutes a day, and you will see the difference in your energy. And now this thing was made by my son, and I always keep it. So what happens is that when my eyes fall on something given to me by my loved one, I'm already going to relax. So that's one of the very simple techniques that you can keep. Have objects around you that give you joy and that give you pleasure. It really helps. So for example, I've got my book in the back. I put in a lot of effort into it because the whole reason, we talk about our why, the why of our existence. Why do we exist? Why do we do what we do? It's a constant reminder that I wrote that book because I see an influencer in everyone. And I want people to step not only to find their stage, but I want them to step onto that stage and own it. And every one of us can do it. And I want to share a story, one simple, quick story. So there were chickens on a farm, and there was Mama Hen and Papa Rooster. And right next to the barn, there was a tree, a pretty tall tree, I think it was a pine tree or ash tree. And there was a nest. And in this nest was a eagle couple. They had 2 to 3 eggs. And then something happened that an egg fell down from that tree. And by God's grace, the way it fell smack into a nest that was created by Mama Hen and Papa Rooster. And folks, this may not be true, okay? This is a story I'm telling, so not all the facts are going to be right. So the egg went and landed right there. Mama Hen and Papa Rooster don't know any different. They think this is part of their egg. They're taking such good care of it. A few days pass by, and everybody hatches out. They're little chicklets, and then there's a baby eaglet, and they're just kind of walking around. And this baby eaglet doesn't know any better, right? Doesn't know what else is going on. He's playing with the baby chicklets, and Mama Hen, Papa Rooster teach the chickens that you gotta put your head down and find your grain. They're not looking left, and they look around, but their whole focus is to get their food for the survival. They're looking down and eating, and of course they play around with each other and having fun. So as the baby eaglet grows, there's something that's missing in the baby eaglet. This yearning, this desire that something's not right. Even though the baby eaglet is being loved, he's got his brothers and sisters and mommy and daddy. Everything's perfect. He's getting food, he's well fed, everything that everybody needs for survival. Right there, good, really good. And yet, he felt suffocated. He felt imprisoned. That something was not right. His soul was crying. So one day the farmer comes, and farmer says, oh my goodness, this is not chicken, this is an eaglet. I need to do something. The eaglet needs to go fly. So he takes the baby eaglet and tries to help it to fly. Baby eaglet doesn't know how to fly. Baby eaglet does not know how to be himself. So as the farmer releases the baby eaglet falls down. Thump. And it gets hurt and it's wobbling, and a few days pass by. Farmer comes back again, takes the baby eaglet and puts it on the barn's roof, hoping that the baby eaglet would fly. No, it falls again. Thump. And it's hurt and it's upset at the farmer. Why is he doing this to me? And all these emotions are running through eaglet. Why is he being so nasty to me? I haven't done anything. And baby eaglet goes and tries to hide and stay away. So whenever the farmer comes, it will go hide behind the bale of hay. And so as it is, the soul was cramped. Now it's even more cramped because baby eaglet does not realize that somebody's trying to help. And then one day farmer's mother comes through, and she loves playing with the animals and cows and goats because she was, of course, raised on a farm. She lived on a separate farm, and so she comes and she's helping out, and then she sees a baby eaglet and she just kind of pets and she's curious. Oh, where did this eaglet come from? And then the farmer comes and farmer says, oh, wow, Mom, so good to see you. They hug, and he says, oh, this is amazing that eaglet is out. I've been trying to look for it and I haven't just not been able to find him. And Mom says, what are you talking about? And he says, oh, I've been trying to help him fly and he'll not fly. And see, check it out. So then he goes on the second level of barn and then again tries to help the eaglet fly. And rather than flying, eaglet again falls down. And it hurts. And Mom says, what are you doing, son? This is not the way to help him fly. So farmer looks at his mom and says, then, okay, if you are that wise, tell me. He's upset. He doesn't like being told by his mom that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So his mom says, just watch. She goes out, takes the baby eaglet and just turns the eaglet around. And now what's happening is that the son's baby eaglet, the baby eaglet just moves his head around and sees the beautiful sky, sees the clouds, sees the top of the trees, and then it flaps its wings and takes off. So the moral of the story is that see the potential within you. It's really important to see that potential. Each and every one of us has it. And that was the reason I wrote the book. Go take a look at what is it that makes you pulse? What is it that makes you bring life to the moment? It's not just about practicing mindfulness. It's about bringing that potential into existence and go make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I kept thinking of Joe Matz because he's Eagle Coaching. And I'll tell you a little story. In our company, there is an award that they give out once a year. And my husband and I got it 2 years ago. And it's the Eagle Award. And I've had different awards through my life, but it's my favorite. There is something very special about eagles. And that was a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody got any announcements or events coming up? Tomorrow morning at 9, there is a Fuquay Verena Small Business.
Thursday morning.
I always think today's Wednesday.
I know.
It's Thursday morning at 9. It's a great group of people. It's on Facebook. We'd love for you to join us. It's another great place to do some networking.
And I want to remind people that the Zoom link has changed for Thursday. So go ahead and look at the site so you can find out what that one is. Or if you're on the list, Tim will be sending out information with that as well.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, Drew. I did want to say thank you, Divya. I think it's really important that we, take that time and, for mindfulness, and we make concerted effort several times throughout the day to rebalance or reset.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes, Steve. Go ahead.
No, I agree, Divya. It's very important. And as a meditator myself, I understand the importance of that. But what I like about your talk today is the reminder of something physical that you can look at, that you can touch, something that you like, something from a loved one like what you had that has an energy, or you ascribe to it an energy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really neat concept. Thanks.
I agree. And I want to just add to that we're also cerebral doing all this Zoom stuff. Mm-hmm. That being able to get back in touch, feel your feet on the floor, grab an item that you have, do what Divya suggested with finding something and touching it and feeling what it feels like. I think those are all really good things to help us get grounded again. Thank you for mentioning those.
Or like Kimball has suggested in the past to, just go outside and walk and put your feet on the ground outside to, feel that electromagnetic, energy and ground yourself that way too. I totally agree. Can't get too many walks outside, that's for sure.
Mentally and physically grounding is very, very important to the mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Hope you'll come back again. We're here every Tuesday from 12 to 1 with a great speaker. Hope you have copied the chat so that you can get in touch with some people. And if you haven't gotten your copy of the book, I really encourage you to. And also share it with a friend. It is a wonderful book for entrepreneurs, and it is quite motivating. So, and it's a win-win because you'll be helping people out at the food bank. So I hope to see you again next week, and everybody have a great week.
All right. Be well all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.